Well, what's going on, guys? Poke Trainer Will over here.
Yeah, Poke Trainer Dave.
Starting you guys out here in our HQ, Fountain Hills, Arizona. I wanted to finally get to, let you guys really get to meet us, introduce ourselves here. What's going on? Good morning, guys. But yeah, we're basically here, trying to show you guys how we've helped build up this area in Pokemon Go. Build up the community and campfire and just kind of started our experiences. A lot of the stuff's been happening recently. It's fairly new just because in the last couple years we really started a lot of the development, and with all that being said, it was just us two really for a long time building stops in the area, just because as you can see we have these beautiful landmarks all across the area. And when we first came here, believe it or not, a lot of these spots weren't even, hey, good morning. These spots weren't even put into the game as points of interest, which is, insane. Look at this thing. It's beautiful artwork.
It makes sense. It was just a retirement community, so there wasn't too many players to begin with. Most of the players are in Phoenix, Tempe, Chandler. They're more in the centralized areas, the downtown, more downtown areas.
Exactly. Realistically, the journey for us with Pokemon Go had started, just like many of you guys, back in 2016, 2017.
Yeah, we played for 6 to 8 months, maybe almost a year.
6 to 8 months, on and off, And me, I always kind of stayed on.
Yeah, you were always on and off.
But realistically, when the game had come out originally back then, we were still located in the San Francisco Bay Area, really close to the San Francisco. In general, we're in a sweet spot of the Bay Area. If you guys didn't know, Niantic HQ is actually in San Francisco. So you could imagine with all that, how built up that place is and how realistically we were spoiled,
exactly. Even the neighboring cities were all
the whole Bay Area, dude. Literally, you could play anywhere.
Thought about building stops, that wasn't even a
exactly. That wasn't even really much of a thing because no one needed to, literally no one needed to build.
We're in such a downtown metropolitan area, I guess you could say.
And I'm pretty sure it's one of the best play areas in general across the United States, and I'm pretty sure amongst most of the big play areas in the world. I'm pretty sure San Francisco is considered one of the top. For the longest time, we were really casual. We're spoiled with the area we were
doing our daily raids.
Yeah, we weren't doing
daily gym intake for the 50 coins.
For us, it was more just kind of like a secondary, and it still is. It's just still just a secondary we play. We're on and off, and especially early on with all that, there was only really so much you could do.
Yeah, exactly.
So after a while, we realistically, both of us were pretty much off the game. I think I was off of it for about a year, and then I started getting really back on and off for a couple of years until fairly recent. For some reason, in the last 2-3 years when we moved here, I don't know, it kind of just clicked, we saw...
I think it was just a reason to...
exactly.
An excuse to adventure with Pokemon Go, something we already like to do, playing Pokemon.
Yep. But yeah, let's maybe change the scenery a little bit.
Yeah, we'll walk down a little
get to see some more spots around the city. So, yeah, let's do it. Cool. And now bringing us into more modern times. So like a couple years ago, when my brother and I finally like decided to move into Arizona, we ended up moving out here into Fountain Hills, which is literally a little town off the edge of city suburbia. Like it's not even
like,
part of the city grid. Like we're literally so far. It's not that far, but it's literally right off of there, you know? So we weren't really thinking about Pokemon Go when we moved, you know what I mean? We just moved out here to try something new. So when I finally decided to open up the game, it was literally like black and white, like, you know, like night and day. Especially compared to the Bay Area, with how, like we were saying, the area itself was just so well developed. Over here, I believe we had between like what, 15, 10,
we had like
15
stops maybe at the best.
Yeah, and on a good note, it was literally allowing us to play for like maybe 15, 20 minutes.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Exactly.
You could
Everything was luckily
around.
kind of clustered already, the way they had it built, or whoever was here.
Yeah, or however it was
maybe
developed.
Niantic just had it already built for them, but it was pretty bad. Like,
Yeah, we actually have an old photo. I'll probably throw it up there.
Yeah, I found a couple. It's all kind of the same picture though, but yeah, we'll post it up so you guys can see what the little skeleton of
the skeleton of the park
was.
But yeah, and then I'll also record a little bit, and we'll be able to show you guys kind of like what we've been
how we've added on
supporting the area. You know,
all the parks are all improved, because that was the crazy part. Like, there's the main park here, and then there's like 3 other kind of smaller parks, obviously, you know, because it's not just, there's no big fountain or lake or whatever you want to call it in the middle of the park. But none of those had any Pokestops. They had like 1 or 2 stops, if that. So like I think Four Peaks had nothing. Like maybe 1 stop in it, maybe, if I even remember right. Cause
I think it had one or 2.
There was areas that were just completely just dead zones. So yeah, like the whole city just looks way better, and it still needs a lot more improving. You know,
yeah,
there's a lot
we're
more
still
we can add
building
into it. We need to fill out the outskirts of the city coming into the town itself now.
Yeah, and like the craziest part was when we originally had moved over here, like I had been saying earlier, I think I was only level 35, 34, 35.
Yes.
David actually wasn't even really playing, and I think
I
his
stopped
profile
playing
was
after like year 1 pretty much, like for sure, like 8 months to year 1 I stopped
playing.
So
it was super hard, and this guy was like level 29, 30, but I remember I was using his profile
for random trades.
Yeah, exactly, just do random trades, because our accounts were originally from 2016.
Yeah, so that's all I had, just 2016, but I still have like at least a couple hundred 2016 Pokemon.
Yeah, so I remember that was actually the way we got him back into the series. I ended up getting the lucky friend effects. And with that being said, it was literally the first time I've ever gotten it. At the time, you know, a couple years back, I didn't even know what it was about. So I looked up a video, and then, you know, kind of figured it out. And I remember I was kind of asking him what he wanted. He didn't really care.
Yeah, I didn't care because I wasn't even playing, you know, or was I really even planning on playing. So I was like, oh, trade whatever, you know. Unfortunately, it didn't have anything, you know. Literally, I
had a couple shinies.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I had a couple. So I remember I actually ended up trading. It was a normal Mewtwo, because I had never seen a good Mewtwo. I had like 3. All of them were horrible. For his shiny Charmander. Because same thing, I just didn't have a shiny Charmander at the time. Might as well make it a 3-star, you know. And I was actually pretty happy. So with that being said, it allowed me to hopefully get this guy on, and now he has a super powered up Mewtwo, you know, he can use and help us in the battles and the raids, whatever. So it kind of worked out in the end, and realistically, you know, that was the main reason he started getting back on, because he was hyped. He had the new Mewtwo, you know, super fun. You know, lucky trades are always one of the best parts of the game.
Yeah, exactly. You know, moving to a new state, it all adventuring the areas, you know.
Yeah, it just kind of makes sense. Yeah, so with all that kind of coming together, and then being in Fountain Hills, you know, it was just like, we couldn't really play. So luckily we had met a couple randoms. Adventuring, I remember I went to a restaurant, and you know, I would always have the game on. So I remember I met, his gamer tag was Deputy Dong, I believe.
Yeah, Deputy Dong.
Zach, I remember. We coincidentally bumped into a friend of a friend, and you know, there's like a little connections now, like years later. Yeah, that was like a connection, and I remember he actually got us.
You had to get on Facebook.
Yeah, he got us the connection to the Facebook group.
To hit up, or to look up Chandler, because they were like a super big group at the time.
So we started meeting some of the locals. We got connected through the Facebook groups because at the time Campfire wasn't even a thing. Yeah, literally Campfire wasn't even out. So everyone was using other social medias, Facebook,
WhatsApp, and
yeah, exactly. There were
just
all
whatever,
other social medias.
Discord and
So like I had no idea. Luckily, thanks to Zach, we got connections, and everyone was mentioning at the time because it was summer when we moved here. Like 110, 120 degrees.
I know, it was insane.
So we needed an indoor place to play. So like we were saying, everyone mentioned Chandler Mall. So yeah, that was like one of the big communities that we actually went to.
Yeah, one of the first groups we met.
Yeah, and in general, we knew like we had like basically a mission, we both of us weren't even high enough level to make stops.
So we had to grind.
So we didn't have the option. We had to go out. We had to meet new people, which is awesome, and basically get our level up, because there was no way we were going to come back and make any stops and develop the area without even getting the beginning is literally just getting the level. So that's what we did, and through that, we met tons of people. We went to all sorts of cities. We traveled to Chandler, Anthem, Phoenix. But we've met all their communities, met tons of people, leaders, and their communities with them. And we've been getting a lot of support, because everyone's been hearing our stories. Same thing. They hear we're coming from Fountain Hills all the way out in nowhere. We want to support the idea. It's just a fun kind of concept, building up a whole city.
And when people come visit, they get to experience it. So it's sick. We've gotten hella compliments from at least our contributions to the town.
Yeah, and it's also the way we kind of built this city was very unique, in the sense that it wasn't really too touched. There weren't other people also building alongside. A big thing with us was when we were going to all these other communities and getting to meet these people, we'd noticed that in Arizona, mainly due to the weather, the climate's always pretty hot. A lot of the communities were very car-centric, so they were like carpooling from point to point.
There was a lot of carpooling.
And which is fun, it's cool, but to me it was just different, being in the Bay Area, there wasn't much of that, it was mainly the opposite. You would go to the park, everyone's walking around, socializing, and there were a couple people that were in their cars hanging out too with their buddies. But that wasn't really the big thing. It was mainly going out and socializing, playing Pokemon, and getting to meet, a whole bunch of the community.
Yeah.
So with that being said, we took that concept and that experience we had kind of grown up with Pokemon Go in the early years in the Bay Area, and wanted to build this area with that as like the main concept.
Yeah, as the goal, to get the
get locals to come out, because when they open their phone, it's like, whoa, what the heck?
We can come on the floor feel, everyone's walking around, socializing, getting to know their actual community, their locals, and
and it just promotes, socializing, community growth.
It promotes the straight community, straight up community growth, and it all just comes together as the trades, lucky friends. You actually become friends at that point. Eventually after playing for like a year or so. I'd imagine.
Yeah, and it literally just all kind of like snowball effect. Because now, realistically, when you look at our location compared to a lot of other places, we'll walk down there and show you guys. I think right now we have already 7 gyms in one corner. Literally one little
something like that.
20-foot radius.
Gyms, yeah.
So. And I'm pretty sure that's like competing with some of the top areas across Arizona. And you just think about it, we came through, just the two of us, with that goal. And it's just like, that's one of the main reasons we want to create this channel and put ourselves a little bit more out there, to reach out to maybe other communities and have these, make these connections where kind of just to show that it's possible. Like, we've done it.
Yeah, exactly. Because I remember hearing about that when I first got on. Rural areas are just...
Yeah, no go.
Good luck.
Exactly.
It's like, what are you talking
no
about?
hope.
It took like 3 good months of straight making Pokestops, which it's kind of a drag, but
yeah, it's a grind.
I mean, an hour a day, you know what I mean? It'll happen. You'll get it done in like 3 to 6 months. You'll have a freaking town's worth of stops. Literally.
Yeah, and like we're saying, this is literally just the beginning for us.
Don't get me wrong. You're gonna want to take a break after that. We took like a couple.
Yeah, it's a huge grind. It's a big task to try and build up. Just building a lot of Pokestops, it's time consuming.
Yeah, but it's all part of the game.
Yeah, it is a big part of
it's not that boring, you know. It's pretty entertaining on its
No,
own.
and it's a big part of the game that I feel like a lot of people just are not really considering at
not
all,
invested
really.
in at all.
And you know, that's, like I'm saying, a big reason we want to put ourselves out there and show you guys what can happen with the investment in time, and not just playing the game and getting shinies, but developing an area and developing a community. I think we've let you see the Gone Dancer, our Rain Dancer, for long enough. We'll probably move out and get some more shots. Saying, we're going and hanging out with a lot of the communities, getting a lot of support from them and supporting them at the same time, you know, going to their events, getting our levels up, just because we didn't really have much of an option. We couldn't really do it on our own, you know, at the time.
Nor could we do it here.
Yeah, we couldn't even two-man raids, you know, we're solo level. Yeah, and at the same time doing all that grinding, once we did hit those levels, we would be coming back here, you know, in the background, building up stops, building up the city. But once we did get the city pretty well built, you know, you could actually see people coming, you know, the potential had been like caught in a sense, you know, like the people were starting to show up. Campfire actually went public, so we were actually able to make the community finally. Because me personally, I wasn't really using Facebook. I wasn't.
Yeah, we weren't using.
I'm not like in the social media.
Maybe just to
circle,
meet up,
really.
you know. And then once we were met up with the whole all the groups, then yeah, for sure, we're done with, you know, the social media. We can talk to everyone and follow along on what everyone's doing, you know. So
you know, it kind of just clicked when Campfire came out. It's a first-party system for Pokemon Go. So we were just like, you know what, it's time. Like we said, our city is literally like pushed away from city suburbia. It's a little town realistically. So we decided to finally, you know, kind of like step up and make the group, make it official. And that's why you see me, I'm rocking the name, rocking the group. It's the Radiant Raiders. But, yeah, what's going on? Hey, good morning.
No, you're all good.
But I think it's kind of crazy how everything just kind of clicked.
Now we're out building freaking the mall with some of the other groups. You know,
Yeah, exactly.
the
We're
locals.
collabing with other communities to build up because, like, you know, like I said, it's already 100 degrees. It's 10 o'clock
we
in the
can't really
morning.
play out here
I'm
anymore.
literally breaking a sweat just standing here telling a story.
Yeah, literally.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, saying that's
So
like
imagine at
opposite.
like 2, 3 in the afternoon, it's probably going to be 110
Yeah, it's gonna be
today.
like 110 easy.
And as a community lead, it's not safe for us to be like, oh yeah, let's come on
Yeah,
out.
everyone meet up at 110 degrees,
Yeah,
get your SPF
so-
200 on, and get your 3-gallon water out, you know what I mean? We're gonna survive out here, you know, maybe we're
Yeah,
gonna, you know,
and that's like another reason we're trying to put ourselves out there. We're doing these little, you know, events, holding, you know, new events. We're trying to figure out events to hold for our community. So in a sense, you know, we kind of would like to reach out and get you guys to put in a little support, maybe get people that actually have their own communities to help us out.
maybe
Leave some
just leaving
comments.
ideas,
Yeah,
yeah.
leave some ideas for us to use for, you know, just the community building and all the growth. I think it's just a
Yeah,
great
there's still
idea to
lots
mix
to learn,
the two.
lots to do.
Yeah, it's just tons of stuff to do.
Exactly, hella opportunities.
But,
So.
yeah, let's go get a little shade. It's freaking
Yeah,
hot.
exactly. I need a water.
freaking hot. Literally the only spot.
Yeah, with a little shade too.
Yeah, literally with a little shade, thank God. Let's see if the Snorlax trash lacks, that's fine. But yeah, we got a lucky trade we've been needing to do. So let's finally get that done. And ours is pretty crazy.
Let's see, let's get some shundos, bro.
Yeah, nice. Hopefully. Trade. You wanted the Kyurem?
Yeah, I might as well with the background.
Nice. Background shiny for background shiny.
This better be it, boys.
Hey, what's going on?
Hey, how you doing? Yeah, hopefully that's it. So I think I've gone 3 of these now.
I think this is technically my first Cobalion, so hopefully
really?
it's the
Damn,
Shundo.
that's hella lucky. Or not really that lucky, actually, because we've rated a good amount of these.
Dang, that thing looks clean.
Nice, that's not too bad.
Oof, mine's a beast.
Oh, damn.
Hell yeah, how'd yours come out?
Not too bad.
Nice.
94.
Dang, that's sick.
Yeah, I think that's my best one.
That's
so
freaking
that's on my
awesome.
brand. That worked out.
Hell yeah.
All right,
Let me
the
actually
best
back
part,
out.
we need to see if we got lucky back to back. Because that's what I want to see. I haven't gotten that yet.
Oh my god, that white background's so sick.
No lucky.
Nah, it's all good. That's super worth it.
Yeah, that was dope. Hell yeah. Didn't you already get lucky with Cartman too?
Yeah.
Bro. Yeah, because he's waiting for a Terrakion, I think it was, with
Yeah,
the background
Terrakion
as well.
with the background.
That's going to be sick. And then you just got to find a Virizion with the background, which I think we have one. One of the locals should have one, I'm pretty sure. If I remember right out here. So, what else do we need? The little horse dude, what's his name?
Yeah, Cobalion.
No, the little guy.
Oh,
The mythic.
what's his name? Keldeo.
Keldeo.
Yeah,
I was thinking
Keldeo.
Kel something. Like, yeah, that thing's sick.
Yeah,
That
but
was
looks
dope.
like the fountain's about to go off, so let's get you guys a good angle and finish this up. Dude, that's sick, dude. I cannot believe how good that came out.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, so that's basically our story so far. We've been out here for a little bit, you know, grinding out the Pokestops and all that. Now you can see the big park area that we've been developing. I'll show you probably a couple angles in the game to see what we've kind of been building. I thought it would be a great idea to, you know, have you guys tag along with our adventures and kind of help us out. Give us little, you know, ideas. We can bounce off each other, you know. A big thing for us is I do want to give a big thank you and a shout out to a lot of the local communities that have come by or that have helped us out a lot in our journey, you know. Like big shout out goes to like the AZ Poke Raiders, Phoenix Pogo, the Roadrunner Pogo Alliance, Tempe Pogo, and the Phoenix Firebirds. These are only just a couple of the communities that are out here in Arizona. There's like plenty more, plenty leaders, so many people, so many cool people out there across the state. But I just wanted to give a big shout out to everyone. Even from California, we've met so many cool people. It's been a crazy journey, and I feel like we're still just only getting started with all the community building and all that. So yeah, I hope you're here to tag along with some of the adventures. And I know we got raid hour tonight. It's Wednesday, so we'll probably do
We'll
that.
be back at it, you know.
Yeah, exactly. Hopefully we'll catch you guys in some of the future events, whether it's here at Fountain Hills or somewhere else in Arizona. And don't forget to look us up. We're out here,
summertime.
get on YouTube, Rippin' and Kong. On Campfire Communities, the Arizona Radiant Raiders out here in Fountain Hills. And we'd love to see you guys at an event or, you know, catch up with you guys. Hopefully get lucky friends. Yeah, so many things we can do to
Exactly.
interact.
Do some real trading.
But yeah, let's go catch that raid hour. We'll catch you guys later.